I spent my time on the psych ward with very insane people. I'm a very manic or hyper depressed person who's had multiple suicide attempts in his life. So my issue is I'm cognitively very developed. I'm a smart guy. I teach university, but I have a big problem with depression and just wanting to fucking end my life. And it's been there since I was a teenager. I've been able to tamp that shit down and just run with it, but I haven't been dealing with it, so it's built up over many years, and it's kind of playing itself out now.
My name's Eric, and I'll be talking to my friend Kyle today. This is our first episode in this series. Let's talk about being crazy.
My name is Kyle. I recently, within the last week, got out of Woodhall Psychiatric Hospital. I spent 13 days in the psych ward, and I'm going to talk about one of my stories. So, yay! Woo! Here we go. So this is the saga of Angry Man. He was quite angry. When you are on the psych ward, you...
Hold on, before we go to the psych ward.
Yeah?
You're living in New York.
I'm living in New York. I work at a university. I teach English.
You teach English at a university.
I teach English.
You've been married. You got married last year.
I got married a year ago. I'm a long-term depressive kind of person who's just kind of never dealt with his shit, and I drink a lot of alcohol to kind of tamp that shit down and make me happy. I call it joy juice.
You got your shit
in the last few years, I felt like there is no joy in my life, and so I always called alcohol joy juice. And I was like, it's time to have some joy. So I would just pound a bunch of alcohol, and then I would get very happy, and that would be literally the only time I was happy until I was hungover the next morning.
Happy though? You get happy?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I was happy.
Because you would pass out. How much booze were you drinking?
But I mean,
daily.
I mean, you get happy in the moments. You have days, of course, where you drink too much too fast and you pass out early. But you also have days where you go hang out. You go to the bar, you have friends.
Those are fun.
Those are fun days.
You have friends at the bar.
I would definitely go home and still pass out.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to gain a solid ground of where you are when
So at this point,
when the saga begins.
At this point, I'm drinking, five nights a week at least. 4 or 5 nights. 5 nights more likely. A pint is standard.
Yes.
A pint is a standard night. Just a pint of booze. That's I'm not going to be a dick. I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm just drinking a pint of liquor. Okay. I get sleepy after a few hours. I pass out. Other nights, it was a fifth, so 750 milliliters to a liter. But it was pretty rough to get through. A liter is a lot. That's a lot for one person by themselves, just sitting there watching
in
Netflix.
One night.
Yeah, in one night. That's a lot.
And by one night, you set a fucking time limit for yourself.
Yeah, a one night is not I buy it at noon and then drink till midnight. That's not one night. One night is I buy it at dinner time. I buy it at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock,
okay.
And I'm done by 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So.
And you make sure you get it down.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if it's a pint. Because that's
okay, I was thinking
5 or 6 drinks.
I was saying the liters.
And I was good. Those are good days. Oh
Pints
man,
are great,
look at me. I'm such a responsible adult. I've only drank a pint of whiskey tonight, and I'm barely drunk. And I'm just feeling, and if I just let it go, I just get sleepy about 2 hours after, So for me, it's I want to be on the upswing all the time. I want to just be on the gobble it down and be on the upswing.
Man, that's how every alcoholic is, I believe.
Yeah.
Me as an alcoholic,
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. That's why drinking at home I really don't do. I feel like at home, like, oh, hold on. Kyle's looking for a lighter.
Got it.
I'm holding one in my hand, looking in my pockets.
Okay.
I have booze at home. I'll crack a beer maybe, but I normally hold it to be like a reward to me even at home. This is like later me. At one time I would drink just if I had booze in the house.
Right.
When I brought the bar into the house, and I built it inside the house, like I drank every chance I could at my bar. Like, it just felt good that way. But what you were doing at this time was different.
Isolating completely. Just sitting at home.
I mean, I would isolate too, but I wasn't married. I hadn't made any commitments like that. In fact, I really.
You have two children. You have more commitment than
now
I have a piece of paper from the government.
Correct, but
like
now I do.
Yeah.
But before I had two children, I just had one child that I only could see when I could. I know that's fucked up, but whatever.
Okay.
I still kind of did that.
Okay.
I built a little bar in my house, and anyway, it wasn't.
Shit got out of control.
It didn't really get that out of control. Like as far as drinking, like I was ignoring my child for other reasons besides drinking. That wasn't getting in the way of it. What you're talking about was like when you came over, you were talking about setting time limits for yourself, like to get down a liter of booze. And I've never like done that. Anytime that like,
well, I mean, that was clearly like a suicide attempt. Like that was clearly like I'm gonna drink myself to death. Right. Like very different than like let's just fucking party and like drink some alcohol until I'm done.
Right. Well, I'm trying to like find that line in between where you were like I like to have fun.
Yeah.
And so like a pint is responsible and like that's a good amount of time and a good amount of fun.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like find that line in your story.
It was years ago. It was
the pint was
probably like the end of Thailand was when it was getting like ridiculous. I had gone through a summer of cocaine, and so, I don't know, for some fucking reason I can bust these other addictions. Like I got bad on cocaine for 2 or 3 months, but then I just stopped. I was like, nope, like.
This
I can't be one of these
definitely
losers.
killing me.
I can't be one of these losers. Like Jesus Christ, man! Like this is too much. It's too much.
Have you seen Arnie Lane's? Is Arnie Lane? Is that
his nose?
His okay, flat, you know, is that I'm saying his name right?
Nose? Yeah. So
I saw him on Joe Rogan last week.
I think he got it fixed.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, is it still disgusting?
It's still. It looks pretty normal, and he looks good. But no, he didn't get it fixed because it was like as a reminder of like why he doesn't want to like.
But yeah, like I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what it is, like awesome. Why I feel this way. Like I don't know. I think we'll explore this some more. But I would like to tell you this the saga of Angry Man.
I will hold you back no more. I'm sorry.
It's no. This is good. This is like a good intro. Like
long intro.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine, man. This is. I think people are interested in this. Okay. So we're gonna get into all my fucking psychosis later in another episode, but for now I would like to discuss the saga of Angry Man. So this is my time in the psych ward. I went into the psych ward on the night before Halloween, and by the time I was checked in, it was Halloween. Interesting. So I stayed in this weird ward where there was like almost nobody, and I just went to sleep. They put me in a bed finally after hours, like 4 hours of sitting there and waiting, and then finally I got to talk to somebody. And I volunteered myself. I checked myself in. I did not attempt suicide. So I was not brought to the hospital by ambulance. I was not court ordered to be there. This was purely me going like, I guess I don't want to kill myself, but I do. So I don't know. Let's figure out something. So I had called suicide hotline number kind of thing, and they ended up looking at my insurance and telling me what I was actually qualified for, which hospitals, and I literally just kind of put my finger down on the list and found a hospital.
Well, the list of hospitals in the phone book, what?
No, because they looked at my insurance, and then they were like, okay, these hospitals take your insurance. So they emailed me a list of hospitals, and I literally just I opened the list and I just pointed to one and was like, I'm gonna go there, because I had no idea. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what was happening. And somewhere in the end of the day, it ended up being a really good choice. But at the time, it was a scary, awful, terrible choice.
Because it was the fucking city.
Where's the lid for this?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I got you.
Come on, man.
Keep going.
So I ended up going into Woodhull City Hospital. I didn't realize I was actually entering a very public, very Medicaid-heavy, city-run hospital. I have private insurance, so I should have gone to a private insurance, like a nice hospital, Cornell, something like, I don't know, just something. There's nice hospitals.
Something for somebody that has
with people's kids who have money, somewhat,
yeah.
Like I have very good insurance.
You went to the city.
Yeah, I could have gone to Manhattan to like a nice.
What do you think your option was? Your guess odds were?
I mean, literally, if I picked any other one on that list, it would have been like a private hospital without what I saw and what I witnessed and where I was.
Odds,
yeah.
The
So
few
I could have gone to a nice Sandra Bullock movie, romance, 28 Days Later.
Nope, county
but
jail.
I went to 12 Monkeys.
County jail in Manhattan.
Basically, yeah. So even my social worker so I get checked in. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead.
No.
I get checked in. I go to sleep. They give me a bed, no pillow, and it's freezing, and I get one little tiny blanket, which is paper thin. So I don't even take my jeans off. I don't take my clothes off. I just lay on this plasticky mattress that was very hard on a piece of wooden bed, a wooden frame. Yeah, a mattress that is what 4 inches, 5 inches.
4 blankets folded together.
Yeah, so this is the mattress and then a tiny blanket. And, I go to sleep and they start detoxing me from alcohol. So that was one thing that I knew I had to do, because I had been drinking every single day for weeks. And then you have potential of seizures, you have the potential of
your DTs.
When you're doing that, when you're DTing, and I had the shakes, they were giving me apple juice, and it was shaking, and the apple juice kept spilling out of the cup because I was shaking so bad. Yeah,
it looks like beer.
Exactly. I was just just gobbling it down, because I hadn't eaten in 2.5 days, because I don't really eat when I'm on a bender. I just gobble something down at some point.
You eat, party's over.
Yeah. So I go to sleep, and then I wake up the next day, and they're like, we're moving you to another ward. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, this is just the intro. This is the intake. And they're like, you're going to your actual place now. I was like, oh shit, okay. And so I go in.
Your place for the...
And it's the wildest fucking... I was so scared at this point, man. I'm fucking terrified. And I'm just like, what did I do?
Explain your... Could I say cell?
So, it's basically
First,
kind of an open area. We call the day room, with a bunch of, hard, plasticky chairs.
Like Oz.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And then we all have our own rooms. The men's rooms are on one side.
Co-ed?
Co-ed. So it's prison, but with
all right.
with ladies. No, it's not all right. They were not. It was not these are
These are the hottest of the hottest.
Yeah, these are homeless chicks that were like, oh my god.
Oh,
yeah.
they're the best, man. They're easy.
Yeah.
It
was rough, man. It was insanity, man. Yeah.
It was insanity.
It was literally insanity.
It was
and figuratively insanity.
Dog.
So there's like, a day room, and then there's 2 giant hallways on either side, the male side and the female side, and then we all have our own rooms. I had a room with 4 other people. So yeah, it was this huge room and 1 bathroom.
Can you tell me about your
And the bathroom...
I'll stop interrupting you. Go on.
The bathroom had like one of those like saloon style doors, so you can't shut like a door. There's no shutting doors. There's no privacy at all.
Of course not.
So the bathroom door has a giant cut, like it's just like the saloons. Like you shove the doors open and like the cowboy walks in. It's like those.
Everybody stops
so
shitting.
People can just look right over, right? So you get to shut like a basic kind of middle ground of a doorway.
Like you're talking about a stall?
No, it was a bathroom. That's where we showered. That's where we took a shit.
There's no stall.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bathroom.
Right.
But the door was just this like angular. It was like this angular. Okay, so the top was angled. What degree is this? 45 degree angle?
45 degrees away from the hinge.
Yeah. So there's just this giant triangle gap in the top. And then the bottom was like cut right at your like knee level.
Right at your okay, right at our dick level.
So it's like this like weird triangular piece of, or trapezoid kind of piece of wood that covered
modernism.
The bathroom. Yeah, there was no privacy at all. So I spent 13 days in this ward.
Picture of Stalin on the fucking...
It was wild. It was just like wild. But I want to talk about... Today I want to talk about the Ballad of Angry Man, the Saga. Like, it was wild. All right. I got kind of comfortable about after a week. The first few days, which this will be another episode, my first days is a whole nother episode. Like, this will be amazing.
Fair enough.
But
you've been transferred to this.
This is the best story of all, so we're going to start 1 week after...
Episode 4.
After I'm in. Yeah, we're starting at episode 4. So, Angry Man shows up on day... I want to say day 9.
Day 9 of you
Day
being
9.
In like...
Of 13. Of 13.
Of you
9
being
of 13.
like into committed, like, 13?
Maybe day 8. Day 8 or day 9. Day 8 or day 9. I can't... It's... Those days were so... everything blended together. It felt like months, you know?
Fair enough.
So, okay, so Angry Man shows up on day...
Week and a half in.
We're going to start at day 8. Let's just say day 8. All right.
Okay.
I spent my time on the psych ward with very insane people. I'm a very, like, manic or hyper depressed person who's had multiple suicide attempts in his life. So my issue is, like, I'm cognitively very developed. I'm a smart guy. I teach university. But I have a big problem with depression and, like, just wanting to fucking end my life. And it's been there since I was a teenager. I've been able to tamp that shit down and, like, just run with it, but I haven't been dealing with it, so it's built up over many, 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 many years, and it's kind of, like, playing itself out now. So that's why I was in the psych ward. The vast majority, 98% of everybody else in the entire psych ward was there because they spoke to people that weren't there. They were schizophrenic. They were bipolar. They paced. They saw imaginary people. Like, they shouted. They had, like, uncontrollable bursts of energy and laughter and fighting and anger and all their emotions all the time. And that shit was happening around me, swirling around me for 2 solid weeks, 24 hours a day.
In your room.
On day 8, though, I was kind of relaxed. I accepted who was there. Everything kind of worked out all right. There was a chunk of people who were developmentally disabled, and I kind of hung out with them. I hung out with the retards. Like, and I took care of them, like, and I made sure nobody picked on them. And I don't know, there were some scary people in there. And I don't know, like, they were nice to me. I was nice to them. I made sure everything ran smoothly. Like, I'm a smart guy. I'm not a psychopath. Like, I can handle this. But then Angry Man showed up on day 8. So we come back from lunch, and then I go to the day room, and there's this, like, bald, screaming black guy. Like, just like, don't take my shit! Don't take my shit! Like, no! And he has a backpack, and he's, like, screaming, and he's, like, literally, like, doing tug-of-war with the orderlies, like, just tug-of-warring, like, trying to, like, get his stuff. And they're like, no, obviously they take your shit, like, we're gonna put it in a locker. They lock it in your room. You can't get to it, but it's all your shit's locked up in your room in a locker that nobody can get to until you leave.
Kind of food.
Yeah, so they don't want to, like, take it out of your eyesight, but right. It's locked. Nobody gets into it. When you leave, they unlock it. You get your shit out. Then you go. He was not having that though, like, at all, and he's freaking out.
He didn't admit himself.
Angry Man did not admit himself. I was probably the only person on the entire ward who admitted himself to a city hospital full of homeless, crazy people. Yeah, like, maybe the only one. Yeah. So Angry Man is like,
do your fucking research.
So yeah, do your research, people. Go to your private hospital if you have insurance.
Talk to your doctor.
Pretty much 50% of the ward is probably homeless people.
Fucking doctor people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, talk to somebody before. So Angry Man's pissed. He's yelling. He's screaming. He's trying to fight the orderlies, and then he's trying to fight any patient who comes even near him. He's screaming at them like, he's Jamaicans, right? Patient. He's just like, I'll punch you in the face. Get away from me. Get away from me. Right? Like, he's like going hardcore. So I'm immediately pissing my pants. And then I watch where they're starting to, like, take his backpack and take his shit and, like, start walking him. And it's to my room. And I'm like, wait, he's going to be my roommate? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, this dude's going to be my roommate.
Are you fucking kidding me, man?
Yeah. So he goes in there, and it's just like another hour or two of him screaming, yelling, being angry. Just
I got to stand up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, go for it.
That going on.
It's just like screaming, yelling, and I'm just sitting there in the day room, just watching my door, like, oh my god, dude. And I'm terrified. And there's one other person in the psych ward with me that is a normie, that is just like my brain. She speaks 3 languages. Her name's Isabel. Like, very smart woman, like, completely on my level. Same thing. She's an alcoholic who got suicidal, that kind of, like, mindset, you know? So she and I are just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. And, you know, like, I look right at her and I'm like, I can't sleep in there tonight. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I'm a pussy. Like, I'm not a fighter. I'm a skinny guy. I've been in 3 fights in my life, and I've lost 3 fights in my life. Okay, like, I'm not a fighter. I don't, like, that's just not me.
For the record,
it's not like the way I work.
I like to act like I'm a fighter. And
yeah.
The better I act like I'm fucking crazy and I'll rip your face out, I win those fights. Any fights that I'm actually entangled in,
yeah,
I'm done immediately. Like, I feel I can't even throw a punch without already feeling sorry.
Yeah.
For, like, hurting somebody, even though I want to kill them and, like, rip their guts out and eat their children. At the moment, like, I can't even let that moment happen before I'm already, like, not defending myself anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like, I'm not a fighty McFighty guy. I've always been just like, I've always tried to talk my way out of shit.
You do fight.
The few fights I've been in have not gone well.
By talking your way through
You just do what you got to do. But
because
for the most part,
nobody really wants to fucking fight.
For the most part, I've been able to talk my way out of, like, pretty much most altercations I possibly could have been in.
You don't agree? Most people really just don't want to fight.
So here I am, just, like, kind of freaking out, and I'm talking to Isabel, and I'm just like, oh my god, Like, this is insanity. I have to sleep with this guy. I have to sleep with this guy in this same room. And this guy's flipping out. And even the staff is running away. They're scared. Like, the staff is very fucking scared. They're like, the patients are scared. Everybody's terrified. This black dude, like this bald black dude, is ready.
Like
he's walking around just
fists
clenched. Like, he's ready to fucking sock somebody in the face. He's ready to go, dude. He's ready to fucking throw down.
You're the biggest guy in my bumper clock.
Come to find out, later, he was like, he literally got out of prison a few months ago. Like, yeah, it's just, and he was a blood and like a drug dealer for the Bloods. I don't know, all this stupid shit. But anyway, I'm just sitting there in the day room, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, psychopath, angry man. So
I was just trying to kill myself.
We like to make nicknames. Yeah, exactly. I was just trying to kill myself. Now I have to live here with Angry Man. Like, Angry Man is so mad. He's so mad. Like, that's why we called him Angry Man. Like, Isabel and I are like, Angry Man is so fucking scary, and we're just sitting in the day room all day. And then it gets to nighttime. It's almost time to go to bed. Yeah.
So this is Isabel.
All right. So here we go. So
I want to just give you
there we go. Cheers,
there,
buddy.
and appreciate you sharing this story with
like
everybody in the world.
Angry Man had been in his room for a while, but there was also another roommate. His name was Eric. And Eric's issue, I guess, Eric's problem is he doesn't have control over outbursts. So it's
Tourette's?
like it's very similar to Tourette's kind of thing. So he doesn't have what is it when you control yourself? There's a word for it. Something control.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like cognitive control.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't impulse control.
Yes, okay.
Impulse control. So Eric doesn't have impulse control. What Eric does is shouts at the top of his lungs. Like that, but as loud as you possibly could imagine it. Like, as loud as you can imagine it. So, or he yells hallelujah at the top of his lungs, or he starts praising God. But I've seen him in the middle of the night just pop up and do like hallelujah and then pop back down and be asleep. And he clearly doesn't remember it or anything. And I'm like, this is involuntary. Clearly. Like, there's no question in my mind. Like,
right, you're not a doctor or anything.
I'm not a doctor, but like, I'm watching this dude. I'm living with this dude day in, day out.
He's
like,
not gonna remember that.
He can't control it.
Yeah.
He can't control himself. He just, the problem here was every time he would do his yell, he would laugh, right? At the end. Angry Man was convinced he's laughing at him. Of course. Naturally, yeah, of course. So Angry Man becomes the most angry man you'd ever fucking see. He every time at Eric, and he's just like, I'll beat your ass, and they like the orderlies have to get between them. He's like comes out with his fist swinging. Eric's running away. Eric is like so scared. Eric is just terrified.
Oh, poor Eric.
And he can't stop himself.
Of course not.
But he loves people, and he's always just like, peace, my brother. Peace, my brother. And like, he would just be like,
I'm laughing at you, brother.
In the Jamaican, Angry Man is like, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'll beat your ass into the ground. And Eric's just laughing because he can't stop himself. He just loves laughing, and anytime he has any emotion, he laughs.
Yeah.
So this went on.
Shock to his like.
This is day one. This went on for about 6 hours, dude. And I'm sitting out there with Isabel. And we're just sitting there, and I just keep being like, I have to sleep with this dude tonight. I have to sleep in the same fucking room with both of them tonight. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And he just keeps coming out, and everyone's so scared of him, even the staff. They're terrified of Angry Man. And then he comes out one more time, and he yells it, because Eric just can't stop it. We're watching football, and every time there was any big play, he's just like, Whoa! And then as soon as he would do that, Angry Man would open the bedroom door to our room and be like, quit laughing at me. I see you laughing at me. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass down. You know, and like start scaring him. So finally, I don't know. I guess there's something happens to yourself when you reserve yourself to get fucked up. Because I just looked at Isabel and I was like, I'll just take an ass whooping. I can't do this anymore. I'll take an ass whooping. I'll take it. So I stood up and I got in Angry Man's face. And this is like a scary dude that like everyone's terrified of. And I was just like, go back in the fucking room. Shut the fuck up. Like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He can't help it. Like, fuck you. Like, leave him alone. Calm the fuck down. Go back in the room. And I was like pointing my finger in his chest and shit. Like, he wouldn't look me in the eyes. And then he just like took 3 or 4 steps back and shut the door. He went right back in the room and closed the door. I fucking turned to Isabel. Like I can't show you listeners, but like my mouth is agape. Like I'm not a manly man if you guys can't tell. But like I literally just stood up to a dude like I'm ready to get my ass beat, like a very scary person, and I just fucking told him to go fucking back in the room.
Go back in your room, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And as soon as he went back in, like I shut the door, he shut the door, and I turned to Isabel and I was like,
blow me now.
I was just like mouth agape, just like, oh my fucking god. Like I'm not like that. I don't know. I always wondered about myself. Like, I don't know if I'm not like in some situation where somebody's robbing my girl and I gotta like step up. I've never been in that situation.
About to beat his girlfriend down with a fucking beer bottle.
Well, you have to ask yourself
though. Stop. Go settle the fuck down.
In front of your mic, man.
The mic's getting me.
Yeah. But you have to kind of ask yourself, like, who am I going to be in that situation of, like, some kind of intensity? And I've never known because I've never been mugged. I've never had to, like, step in. I don't know, but it was just, like, Eric was about to get the shit beat out of him. And I like Eric. He can't help himself. I like the guy. And he just couldn't help himself.
Right, you don't care.
Like a very Tourette style, yeah. And I'm like, you're not going to beat up my friend. Like, you're just not. Like, I'll take an ass whooping.
After you beat him up anyway.
Yeah, my buddy Ewan kind of talked about that. He's like, it's amazing what you can do when you resign yourself to the fact that you're just going to take an ass whooping. Like, you can actually just be like, you know what? Like, fine, fuck it. Like, you're bigger than me. You're a fucking scary ass, huge dude. Like, fucking beat my ass. Go ahead. Like, but I'm not gonna like step down. Like, I'm gonna get in your face. I'm gonna do what I need to do. It's like, it's amazing what you do when you finally, after 6 hours, dude, 6 fucking hours of this shit nonstop. Your brain snaps. Your brain snaps. I was like,
we have to put like
I'll get beat the fuck up.
The semicolon in your story. It's like, this is 6 hours into checking yourself into this.
Just sitting there in the day room listening to this dude yelling at Eric over and
I gotta
over.
say, this sounds...
So I literally like punked that dude. I even sat down and Isabel was like, dude, you just manned the fuck up. And I was like, I did, didn't I? She's like, dude, you fucking totally did.
Your dick is in my mouth. No.
So like, essentially, Isabel was like, dude.
God damn it. I'm doing it. I'm sorry.
We're going to cut all this shit out. All right.
Put your dick in my mouth.
So essentially, Isabel was like, dude, you just manned the fuck up. And I was like, in a way, like, I was like, I did, didn't I? Like, Jesus. And again, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I play the fucking ukulele. Like, I'm a skinny white boy, went to a liberal arts college. Like, I'm not a fighty McFightster guy. Like, I've literally never in my life stood up to somebody and told them to, like, calm the fuck down. Like, told them what to do and, like, used a lot of fucks in it and pointing my finger and putting it in their chest. Like, that's not me. And I was, like, baffled. I was like, holy shit. Like, and I won. Like, I punked him.
He went back in his room.
I'm terrified still at this point because I'm like, is he in there just like plotting to like beat the living shit out of me as the moment I come in? Like, is that what's about to happen? Right? Angry Man is terrifying. Like, everyone's so scared of him. And then it gets to like 11 and that's when they like turn off the TV and it's like basically everyone go to bed. We get our evening meds and it's like bedtime. And like I'm just sitting there. I keep looking at Isabel, and I'm just like, I can't go in there. I'm so scared. Like, I can't go in there. And she's just like, I mean, you punked that dude. Like, it's, I don't know. Just like, fuck. Like, I don't know what to do either. And I'm like, I don't know either. Like, yeah.
Everything matters right now.
Yeah. I'm like, am I about to die? Like,
should I go in there and like sleep like this?
Like, yeah, exactly. Eric just pulled his pants down. Yeah, bent it over. Should I sleep like this? So.
For real though. Like,
I opened the door. And I like literally look back at Isabel like almost like a goodbye, like
nice knowing
see
you.
you, sayonara, like see you later.
Guess
I enter the room, and I see Angerman there.
You enter Sandman.
And then he doesn't say anything, and I just walk over to my bed. I walk over to my bed. I lay down, and I'm just like, oh, okay. It's just quiet. Okay, it's cool. Nice. And then I just hear from Angry Man's bed, "Is that your wife?" And I was like, "Huh? Is that your wife?" And I was like, "Huh? Like the blonde girl?" I was like, "Oh no, that's just a friend of mine." And then he's just like sits up in his bed. And he's just like, oh. And then he proceeds to tell me his fucking life story for about 20 minutes.
Dude,
and how he was in a hospital before this, and he got clocked in the head with something hard and had 7 stitches. He showed me his scars. He starts bawling his eyes out and crying. Angry Man, the guy everyone's scared of, is crying. I end up sitting on his bed, patting him on the back, like, shh, it's all right, man. Like, don't worry, like, no one's gonna hurt you. Like, they'll have to come through me. Like, I've got this new sense of, like, strength and virility, you know? Like, I'm a man now.
Got you.
So, yeah, I was like, I got you, man. Like, no one's gonna hurt you. Like, they'll have to come through me. Like, it's just shit that I would never fucking say. Like, who I am not. Like,
you get a dick suck, the blonde chick crushed us.
Just like, I'm patting his back, and he's crying and crying. I'm like, did they give you any sleep meds? He's like, I can't sleep in this place, man. I can't sleep in this place. And he's crying and crying, and I was just like, it's all right, man. Just like, you know, just relax and everything. And then he was asleep in like 2 minutes. He passed out. And then I'm just sitting on his bed, and he's snoring, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
What did you do?
What the fuck? No, I got up. I went to my bed, and I went to sleep. But I was just laying there, like, even before I went to sleep, just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I stood up like a man.
How'd you just go to sleep, though? Like,
for like 2 hours, I didn't. I just laid there, like...
You've been waiting to go to sleep anyway.
Yeah, like, terrified of this guy. And I go in, and he's crying, and I have to literally, like, pat this dude on the back to, like, get him to go to sleep. And it's insanity, man.
That's terrifying.
So, pretty much the rest of the entire time, the rest of the week I was in there, the second week... This dude was my bitch, man. Like, I fucking owned him. And he kept trying to holler at Isabel. Yeah, exactly. Pull the pocket out. I'm like, make you hold it. Like, he kept trying to holler at Isabel. I remember, and then he came over to her once. She's always with me because I'm not going to let anything weird happen to her. And I can't even imagine being a woman in that place where you have an unlocked door. Yeah, unlocked door all night long. Yeah.
On that.
Oh, we're gonna get there. Man. I was like, yeah. I feel very bad for the women who are on that block. I don't think it should be co-ed in a lot of ways. It shouldn't be.
I don't think it should either.
We can't lock our doors. They open our doors all night. Sometimes there are crazy people who do open your doors and go in your room, and that staff doesn't even see them. Like, and there's women and men. It's not a smart idea. So, we'll get to that. Anger Man is kind of quiet the next day. Because I wake up and I'm just like, boom. Hey, what's up? His name is Craig. And so I'm like, hey, Craig, what's up, man? Like, you ready for breakfast? You know, and he won't say a word to me. Because he fucking bawled his eyes out and cried after being all tough guy to the rest of the ward, right? So I saw him for what he really is. And I punked his ass down. So he's already, like... weak, and he's cried in front of me, and I had to, like, literally, you know, pat his back to sleep like his mother. So he just wouldn't say a word to me the next day. And we go to breakfast. The day runs okay. But then he keeps trying to come up to Isabel. And again, Isabel is cognitively just like me. She speaks 3 languages. She's a very smart girl. She's from England. She just drank a lot, and she actually tried to commit suicide. I went in before I tried. So we're both pretty much on the same level, and then we're surrounded by schizos and bipolar people and crazy, like, insane people. So he keeps being like, so let me talk to you. Can I talk to you in the corner? And Isabel's pretty much always by me because I make sure she's okay. Like, and she's like, no, I'm okay. Like, you can talk to me right here. Like, I'm not going into a corner with you. Like, I've never even spoken to you. Like, and then he stomps off into the room, closes the door. We sit down for a minute. We're just chatting. I was like, oh, that was weird. Fucking angry man. Jesus, man. That dude, he's hitting on you. You know, like fucking with her a bit. You know, like, you know, do you want me to make the hookup? Do you want me to go, like, talk to him for you?
I know him. I can talk to him for you.
Yeah, you should write one of those, like, junior high letters. Check yes or no.
Yes. Check yes if you want to rape me in the bathroom.
Exactly.
Check no if you want to rape me.
So, like, suddenly, we're just sitting there talking in the day room, and Craig, angry man, comes storming out.
I check all boxes.
Angry man comes storming out, and he just starts pointing at her, and he's like, how dare you? And he starts crying again. How dare you do this to me? How dare you? Like, how could you treat me like this? How could you treat me like this? And I'm shocked. I'm just like,
what did you do?
What the fuck happened? No, I listened to what that happened. You know, I was just like,
no, of course, but
what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, So he flips out, goes back into the room, and immediately I'm like, well, I gotta keep an eye on this situation. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, so, yeah, over the next couple days, he's like kind of okay. And then it culminates in our second to last day.
You an angry man.
Angry man, yeah. So, Angry Man kept fighting with Eric. It kept happening over and over and over again. So finally they moved Angry Man after like 3 days to another room. Because there was one night I slept 1 hour. Because those two, Eric would do his laugh thing, which we got used to in the room, and we could just sleep through it. Like, or you just kind of wake up and then you go back to sleep because he's going to be like, ah! But every time he did that all night long, Angry Man jumped out of bed, ran over to his bed, and tried to start punching him in the face as hard as he could. And then there's me.
The fuck?
There's me trying to stop it because I actually like Eric, and like he can't stop himself. Like it's like Tourette's. He can't stop himself. So I'm doing the best I can. The staff is shit. It's a bunch of women. Sorry, women, you're not the same as men. It's South Park. You're not the same as fucking men. Like. No, a bunch of little women running in there with 2 grown men, one from prison trying to beat the shit out of another one. Like, they're not going to stop him. So it was me. It was me doing their job. And I'm, like, trying to pull him off multiple times. There was one night I slept 1 hour. And I, like, literally the next day, just all day, I'm just sitting there. Isabella's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I fucking just slept, like, 1 hour last night. I fucking hate life right now. Like, I just want to murder somebody. Like, so Anger Man is moved to another room. Things kind of mellow out for a day or two, and then we're having breakfast. We're on our second to the last day out. Isabel and I got out on the same day, so they kind of knew we were like hanging out a lot, so they didn't want to keep one of us in there longer than the other. I protected her. I made sure. Because, dude, imagine that shit. Like a co-ed, basically prison. Like, do you imagine the creepy dudes and all the shit they would say to her? But when I was next to her, nobody said anything. And even Angry Man, he would not. He was so scared of me. Like, I just punked him that first night. He was so scared of me. On our 3rd or 4th day, we were in the room when I was protecting Eric, and Eric had gone out, and he was just like, I don't want to fight you, man. You walk like a soldier. And I was like, again, he's just building my ego up. You know, I'm like, I walk like a soldier. Like, what does that even mean? Like, I guess I walk with confidence. Like, you know, like he's scared. Like, I'll beat the living shit out of him. And I'm like, I'm a scrawny dude. But I guess if you just kind of fake it till you make it, like.
You walk with confidence.
Yeah, you do your thing. But he was like, you walk like a soldier. I'm not going to fight you, but I'll beat the shit out of Eric. And I was like, you're not going to beat the shit out of Eric, dude. You're not going to do that. Like, just chill out. Do you want to get out of here at any time? Like, do you want to be released? Like, shut the fuck up. Go to the classes. Talk to your social worker. You'll be out of here in a couple days. You do this shit, you know, like, you're going to be in here for fucking ever. And I even called him a pussy one night. Like, yeah, like, I literally became the most confident motherfucker I've ever been in my life. I've never been a fighty, like, strong, tough man, but I became that in there. Because I was, like, protecting people, and I knew that, like, the toughest, I'm doing air quotes right now, the toughest guy in there was terrified of me, so that makes me kind of the alpha. Like, I'm the alpha of that fucking psych ward, man, yeah. So, he kept, the second night after sleeping an hour, he kept rattling on and on with Eric, rattling on, Angry Man just going on and on and on, trying to beat his ass, and I remember getting up and being like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit and talk to Eric outside this room and try and find, like, a solution. Like, maybe he can scream into his pillow. Maybe maybe we can move him to another room. Like, there has to be a solution. I'm not a pussy-ass bitch who's going to result of fighting to, like, solve my fucking issues, which isn't going to solve anything, you fucking retard. And I talked to him just like that, man. Again, this dude who everyone's terrified of. And I had no fear of him at that point. Like, zero fear. I patted his crying ass to sleep, you know? Like, I owned him. I owned him.
That's his ego, though.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, that's funny.
And I was like, you are a fucking pussy bitch, dude. Like, you're going to just fight him? That's your solution? And then he starts crying. And he's like, I'm not a bitch. And I'm like, well done. Like, you defended that well. That's good job there. Good job there, Angry Man. So Angry Man's nickname changed between Isabel and I, like, between us. Like, Angry Man's name changed to Crybaby. Because he was such a bitch after that, man. He was such a little bitch. And he was so scared of me. He was so scared of me.
Wow.
And the last story of Angry Man.
God damn, that's fucking...
Yeah. So he'd been moved to a new room, and then we're having breakfast. And again, Izzy, Isabel, and I we're glued to the hip. Like, we're the only normies in there. We're not schizo. We're, you know, like, we can actually have a conversation. And we kind of laugh at, like, everything going on around us all the time. There's so many good stories. There's so many good stories.
Isabel. We need to get a hold of her and I want to hear her story on this podcast.
Oh, absolutely. I can arrange that.
Let us make this happen.
So, Angry Man's behind me in breakfast, and Angry Man's staring right at Isabel, just staring at her, and he's like, I need me a white bitch to pimp out, and I'm staring right at her. And my back is to him, and she's across from me, just like the way we're sitting. We're sitting facing each other, and he's right behind me as if he's, like, right behind my back. And again, I have so much confidence and virility. Like, I'm a man's man in there. Like, manlier than I've ever been in my life. And I just fucking turned around, and I was like, excuse me? Like, what? Fuck off, Craig. Fuck off. Fuck off. You know, and they start coming after me, the staff. And then I get in their face, and I'm about to get strapped down and fucking injected, man. Like, I'm at that level. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're yelling at me right now? He just looked her in the face and was just like, I need a white bitch to pimp out, you know? And they got it.
And I'm looking at you.
They got it. The staff was like, immediately like, I was like, you're not going to do anything about that? I'll do something about it. Like, you're not going to talk to her like that. Like, how fucking scary is it to be a fucking woman in this place, man? Like, and then somebody's gonna be like, I need to pimp you out, and then you have to go to sleep tonight with your fucking bedroom door unlocked, like...
To this dude.
Yeah, like, and who knows who the fuck is gonna come in your room.
What I need to pimp out right now?
Yeah, dude. Fucking crazy. Alright, so Angry Man tells the one person I'm close to in there, the one person I give a shit about, the person I'm protecting every single day, like... And you would too, man. Like, just like a nice girl who just like basically has the same problems as you, also surrounded by these schizo fucking psychopath homeless people. Like, of course you're gonna fucking take her under your wing. You're gonna like protect her. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna let her like bad shit happen to her, or let people talk to her like that and like scare the shit out of her. Imagine how scary that would be. I need a white bitch, like dude from prison staring at you. Like, I need a white bitch to pimp out. Like,
I want you to hear the way you explained that story. That was terrifying.
yeah.
We're gonna pause right here.
Oh no! Like no, let's finish and then we'll listen at the end, man. Let's finish.
Right,
I'm on a roll, man. Let's finish this up.
Please do.
All right.
Because that was terrifying,
dude. It was fucking scary, and I got in his face, and I was like, but again, he's kind of my bitch at this point, so I have zero fear of him. So like, I just own this dude, but he's a scary dude. He's a crip drug dealer from
thing that
prison.
You're playing along because you checked yourself into this place. And
yeah.
This is where you're at right now.
And I volunteered to be here. And I'm the only one in the entire fucking psych ward voluntary. Like, yeah, like, top me up there, bud. Okay.
Okay,
so I freak out at Craig. They get mad at me. I yell at the staff and scared. I'm about to get strapped down and stuck with a needle. And because they have the quiet room, when they strap you down, your head is strapped down, your arms are strapped down, every part of you is strapped down, and then they start injecting you with drugs and make you knocked out. Yeah, then they send you to bed and you fucking sleep.
I bet a nickel.
Yeah. So after I flip out on the staff, because I was like, how dare you come after me? Like, I'm just standing up for my friend here. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Obviously.
Like, he's saying he's gonna pimp her out. Like, what the fuck? And then they go after Craig after that. They're like, Craig, get away. And of course, Craig starts crying again. Oh, crybaby. So Angerman / Crybaby sits down, and Crybaby just starts going like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And we're both just like staring at each other, like Izzy and I, and we're just like rolling our eyes, like, and we're both like, it's okay, like, water under the bridge, just get the fuck away from us. Can you just get the fuck away? Like, move away from us? Like, go. You know, and he's crying, and then, of course, the staff has to calm him down because he gets attention, so he throws a big fit in the hallway, crying, you know, and we move on from that, and, like, basically that was how Angry Man operated, and then I was released on the same day as Isabel, and she had to stay 2 or 3 hours after me. Like, literally, I was there with her from, like, the beginning till the end, and there were a few moments where I'd, like, go pee, and literally, like, there'd be a swarm around her, because she's a very attractive little British, like, English girl, you know, like, so these guys would just, like, swarm her, and, like, she would just kind of freak out, because I would, you know, like, sometimes I have to pee, like, I have to take a shit, like, I got private shit to do at some moments, and yeah, they'd be around her, but for the most part, I'd come back out in a few minutes, they'd scatter, and I'd be right there next to her, and then, like, I got released, so Paloma comes in, picks me up, I give her a hug, you know, I'm just like, dude, like, I'll see you on the outside, man, I have to go, you know, like, so she's like, I talked to her after, and she's like, dude, the moment you left, like, 3 of the guys in the ward immediately surrounded me. Like, I was sitting, and they all sat around me, and were just, like, chatting me up. I'm doing air quotes, you know, like, just like, do you have a boyfriend? How tall are you? Like, da-da-da, like, just talking, you know. And finally, at least the nurses got it, like, what was happening now that I was gone, and they came and sat with Isabel, and just, like, shoot off the fucking crazies. And so she got out 3 hours later, but they literally sat with her the whole 3 hours because
You're gone already.
Craig and 2 other guys were just, like, all over her. Yeah. It's just insanity, dude. Like, I can't even imagine being a female, like, in that fucking place, man. But, yeah. That was a saga of Angry Man, dude. Like, I punked that dude so hardcore, and I've never been a manly man's man. But, like, I've just never owned another human being so hard before, and I'm like, feeling. Yeah, it's a very good feeling.
a feeling that he was not really even looking for, but was looking for.
Like I said, I think earlier, I always questioned, like, if there was a serious moment, would I step up? And I've never even, like, been challenged with that task. Like, okay, if somebody pulls a gun or, like, tries to rob me and somebody I care about with me, would I be the one who steps up, or would I be the coward who, like, freaks out? And I always thought I'd be the coward who freaks out, but, like, after this experience, I'm like, maybe I am the guy who would step up.
If you knew
maybe I would take
that was the right reason, you would totally do it. Like, you've just figured that out.
Yeah, so I'll always appreciate Angry Man / Crybaby. I guess he kind of like brought out a piece of me that like a aggressive male, like but the horns together, like just deer, just fight, like
fucking no.
Yeah, like I'll take the ass whooping. That's how it all started. I just looked at Isabel and I was like, I'll just take the ass whooping. I can't take this anymore. I can't take him yelling anymore. I'll take the ass whooping. Stop it! And then the moment I realized, like, a little bit of machismo sometimes works in a positive way, and I dominated him. And yeah, you walk like a soldier, man. I don't want to fight you, like.
That's gotta be the biggest feeling ever. And you're like, I have been a soldier.
Yeah,
I am a motherfucking soldier. Motherfucker.
So yeah, man. So that is the Saga of Anger Man. I hope you guys enjoyed.
That was great. That was fucking great. Give me a hug.
And I got so many more of those, man. There's... Oh, crush my nose. I got your nose.